Today I'm going to show you how to make this emergency whistle out of some used rifle casings. Okay, so this is a simple project you can do at home. It sure beats going out and spending anywhere from $1 or $2 for an emergency whistle for your bug out bag. And it's a kind of neat project too. This is a emergency whistle, and I'm going to blow it for you. Pretty loud. You can make this with a 223 and a 22 cartridge. If you don't shoot the calibers, or if you can't find brass anywhere in your area, you can probably go to a range, you can go to a gun store, ask them if they have any extra lying around. It's pretty simple, and really all you'll need is a soldering iron, some soldering flux, and a Dremel to cut the metal. I'm going to get into the details of how I did this. I got it really zoomed in now, so I'm going to zoom it back out, and I'm going to show you. All right, so before the video started, I did all the cutting with the Dremel because I didn't think anybody wanted to sit here and watch me play around with the Dremel for 2 hours. It didn't really take that long. It took about 10 minutes. But still, this is a lot easier to just show you. What you're going to do is get your 22 case, and you're going to cut off the end where the primer is. I do it basically to make it slide into the case better by just going around the outside of the edge with a Dremel stone until eventually it falls off. When it falls off, you're going to take that piece and cut it in half. That's going to become the, I guess you could call it the baffle if you want, for your whistle. You're going to be soldering that on there. Bring it up to the camera here so you can see. You're going to be soldering that on there completely across like that. It looks kind of difficult to hold right now, but once you put some paste flux on there, it'll be real simple. After you're done with that, you're going to take your 223 case and you're going to make some markings about, I don't know, what's that, about 1/4 of an inch down? You're going to do a straight cut and then a slant cut. You can pick it out with a pair of needle nose pliers here. That's what I did. I just picked out that piece. And I took some files. I still have a little more cleaning up on it to do. But I took some files and filed it down. I also went around the outside of where I'd cut off on the 22 casing and just kind of smoothed it up. They tend to bulge a little bit in the back, so you might have trouble fitting it in there after you've welded your little piece on. So what I'm going to do right now is set this up over here, and I'm going to solder this little piece on the end here. It fell through. And I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I got the paste flux on there, and for those of you not familiar with it, that's what it looks like. It's kind of a pasty, waxy material. I just put it around the outside of this and on the inside. And what I'm going to do is put this in here so nothing moves around. You don't want to clamp this case in here, of course, because then it would just stick and squish it. And you also want to be careful when you're using hemostats or anything that you don't squish this and flatten it either. You want to make it so that it's a nice smooth, rounded edge there. You don't want anything to get through where there's air that could escape and make the whistle not work correctly. I'm going to warm up the soldering iron here. Put a little solder on it. See if I can do this one-handed while looking through my camera. Good luck with that. No, I'm actually getting it. And again, too, you may have to move this around a little bit, but I think that looks pretty good. I'll just trim that up, polish it up, use a little solder, get it flat, and that should be a good enough connection. I have really tough fingers, so I just tend to wipe the solder away with my fingers. But anyway, we'll move on to the next step, and I'll show you what it looks like inside the case. All right, so I got it on the end there, as you can see from the video. I kind of roughed up the edge of either end of the case, because what we're going to do with this is we're going to put a bunch of whole paste flux all over this. And then we're going to place this inside of here so that that open area on the 22 case comes right kind of level with this area here. There's a close-up. There you go. And that's what it'll look like. So we're actually going to solder the end of the casing in here, okay? Now I'm going to take this apart and pop that out there because there already is a little flux on my fingers. And we're going to take our paste flux and kind of just wipe it all over the outside here. Doesn't really need to be you know, you're not doing anything for, there's no extra points for neatness in this. You're just trying to fit it in there. And what I'm going to do, just for safety's sake, because I didn't clean that cartridge out, is I'm going to take some brake cleaner on a Q-tip and just clean the tip out. Usually I do this with tumbled brass, but because I was doing this quickly for a video, I just grabbed it out of my 5-gallon bucket of brass. So what I'm trying to do here is get off any impurities that would mess up the solder and the joint. And I'm going to take some flux on the thing, place it in here. You just want a whole mess of the stuff everywhere so that it'll be a nice, even joint. Okay, now put a little bit on the outside of this one too. Okay. Now again, we're going to put it back in there. You'll note that little slot on the 22 is perfectly perpendicular or level with the slot in the casing itself. And I'm going to get the soldering iron, put that down gently, get the soldering iron and some solder. Make sure it's still even, and then just go around the outside. Now that's a real rough job. Of course, I'll polish that up some and make it look prettier. I'm going to wipe it off and see if it works. I get my towel over here, give it a quick wipe off and a cool off because it's still rather warm. And I'm just going to take a little, with a file, just take the edge down, and then I'll polish it up with a Dremel after. But for a quick and dirty test, let's see. There you go. Now I'm going to polish it up and I'll come back and show you the finished product. All right, so there you go. I polished it up a little bit, nice and shiny. And basically, you have a really, really loud, free survival whistle. The only thing I haven't figured out yet is how to incorporate paracord with it. I tried to drill a hole in here once to see if that would affect the way the whistle works, and sure enough, it wouldn't whistle anymore. So I'm thinking either something around the rim, or maybe take the primer out and plug it with something else and stick a piece in there and pull it through. But it has to stay completely sealed. This one is actually louder than my other one. And you will run into some that just don't work. You'll run into maybe one or two that aren't as loud, or you have to hold them a certain way. This one, I put it right up to my mouth and blow, and it's whistling. So it's a freebie, loud survival whistle out of some rifle cartridges. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe and click like.